everybody, Damon Fiore, Dark Raven Training Group. I'm going to create another video today, talk about junctional injuries. As we know, junctional injuries are accounting for the majority of preventable hemorrhage deaths on the battlefield right now, according to data that we have been capturing downrange. With that said, I'm going to just make this short and sweet today. I'm going to cover subclavian hemorrhage. This has kind of been an elusive issue for a lot of medics. We've had a lot of guys die due to a subclavian injury, mainly because it's a pretty tricky spot to get to, right behind the clavicle. We've got a lot of vasculature running. Our plate carriers aren't necessarily protecting us up in that region, so we need to make some concerted efforts to try to eliminate those issues from happening. Well, with that said, bandaging. In a lot of my training lanes that I have open and that I participate in, I see bandaging is problematic for a lot of people. I think that we kind of take it for granted. We look at it like, oh, well, no big deal. Once we have packed the wound, once we have achieved hemostasis, yeah, we'll just bandage it, but we never actually practice with the bandaging. I see some folks don't really pay a whole lot of mind to the type of bandage that they are using. I guess I have the luxury, because I am an instructor training at a bunch of different locations. I have the luxury of seeing a bunch of different types of bandages out there. I can tell you guys, like for instance, I'm not a fan of the Israeli, and I'm not really a fan of high-priced bandages. Some of them can be upwards of $15. I don't see the need for that. When I look at a bandage, one thing that I look for is, number one, this is a 4-inch bandage. This one actually came from TacMed Solutions. This is what I use a lot in training because they're cheap, they're disposable. But this is also not a bad bandage to keep around. What I do like about this particular bandage is they have Velcro stoppers that they put in every, I guess, 18 inches. This is nice because as the medic, we know if we're trying to hurry, and who knows, we're under fire or just trying to get off the X, trying to get off the scene. It's really easy to lose your bandage and now you have to start over again. The Velcro stopper, nice little easy trick. But for me, I prefer a 6-inch bandage. I have a couple of 4 inches, I guess, just for whatever, but if I can get this open, I prefer to utilize a 6-inch because I can cover a lot more surface area with it. So this one doesn't have the Velcro stoppers in it. An alternative that I could to not having Velcro stoppers, and I learned this from some Naval Special Warfare medics, really good guys. Take your bandage, roll it out, use some white Elmer's glue, and every 8 to 10 inches put a bead, and then roll your bandage back up. The Elmer's glue will hold the bandage in the event you drop it, but you can break through that Elmer's glue and keep going through with your wrap if you need to. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to bandage a subclavian injury. I kind of came up with this a little over a year ago, thinking of I just went home, kind of practicing with my son. I feel like I invented this technique. I don't know if someone else has come up with it. Nonetheless, I want to get this put out onto my YouTube channel for my other students to examine, to review. That way when you guys come in for training and whatnot, you're kind of looking shit hot. Again, like I said, I prefer a 6-inch bandage because we're going to cover a lot more surface area with this as opposed to the 4-inch or even a 2-inch. 6-inch bandage, big fan. When we pack these subclavian injuries, obviously most of us are going to have combat gauze, Celox, some sort of hemostatic, and we're going to get in there and manually pack. This injury is problematic because of the way everything is structured. Your vasculature is kind of running behind the collarbone. If you wanted to hold a temporary tamponade, pretty much have to get your fingers inside and pull the vasculature in towards the collarbone. So it's something to keep in mind when we're packing. Some tricks, I got buddies in pararescue that are using Foley caps. So they'll pack and then they'll snake a Foley cap in and fill it up to create that expansion inside the wound, hopefully to achieve hemostasis over that injured subclavian vasculature. Another really good device, I think it is ideal in this application, is the X-Stat syringe. However, that X-Stat's about $240, $280 a piece. Not everybody has them, but if you got access to that, I have one. I keep it ready for this exact injury, preferably. No matter what we do, how we pack it, we need to eventually get to a bandage. So let's just assume that I've shot my X-Stat in here. I backed it up with regular cotton gauze, whatever I've needed. I've overpacked the wound. Now I want a bandage. To begin this bandage, I'm going to apply the front part over the shoulder. I'm going to work my way backwards. I'm going to come around his chest, create one total revolution of the bandage. Nice and tight. Now I'm going to come around. So 1.5 turns. At this point, I'm not going to complete over his shoulder. I'm going to go just below his pecs. I want to keep it just below his pectoral muscles. Pull it tight. All right, John, turn around. All right, so now as I'm working the bandage back around, I want to go ahead, I'm going to capture this cross strap that I've built. Just one time, make this nice and tight. And now I'm going to wrap over his shoulder. Turn back around. Okay, now here, that's the reason for passing below his pecs. I'm going to capture the bandage again. And then I'm going to come back over. So now all I'm doing is I'm building a stirrup to go back and forth. If I need to, I would connect another bandage over this. So turn around. You can see I'm running out of bandage material. I would go ahead and tie another bandage onto this. In this instance, I don't want to burn up another one. So I'm going to go ahead and complete, again, lots of pressure down on top of that overpacked subclavian injury. And then back in. You guys know I'm a fan of Gorilla Tape, whatever you need to do to secure that. John, how is the pressure being exerted down here?
It's pretty good.
Pretty good? Pretty sufficient? Okay, so see, I'm kind of turning his arm colors right now. That's going to be adequate. This is if we need to now get the guy up and moving. This is, I think, the ideal way of managing or bandaging a subclavian injury. Thanks for watching. I'll have more videos later on.